Ready to look at Ashleigh's?
Three female entrepreneurs turned besties share on life, business, and the journey through the mess. Join their community with every new episode for connection, education, a few laughs, and the hype energy like a bathroom full of drunk girls at a bar. It's okay.
We're your friends now!
Hey guys, it's Ashleigh.
Hey, it's Katie.
Hey y'all, it's Biz. And today we're talking about spring. Hey!
Spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung. It is like, honestly, it's just my absolute favorite time of year. Like, I love spring in New Orleans. Like, everything is the ferns that are all in the trees. They get all crispy during the winter. Like, they just are like bushy and like super happy ferns now. So like every tree is just furry and it's just beautiful. And like because it rains like every afternoon, it kind of washes the pollen. So it's divine. It like gets in the 60s at night and then like the high 70s for the day. So my windows are open. I love it. So I had a great time this weekend. And like I realized that everybody is like happier.
Yeah.
I think spring has sprung up in y'all's like northern parts of the country now. And maybe I realized like as I was planning this topic now that maybe you might not be there yet.
Still in the thick of it. We get a nice break around now. So we'll get in the 80s later this week, which is heavenly. I'm so excited. But some of our worst snow months can be March and April. So we're never fully out of the woods, but we do get breaks. And I need those. I soak them up.
Is it still really cold where you are, Kitty? Yeah.
So yeah, like today the high is 59, so that's really nice. But like yesterday, I think the high was 40 or something. We did hit like 64 over the weekend, but then we took like a 40-degree drop the next day, and like yesterday it was storming all day and stuff. So yeah, we don't really.
Do y'all do spring activities in spring? Like what?
No. But the change is that like it goes from being dark and really freezing cold and like below zero to we get to see hints of the sun a couple times a week, and so it's like a little glimmer of hope. And I told Brett the other day my new gauge for it, because I can't do just the temperature thing, it'll make me sad. I can't do how often I see the sun, it'll make me sad. My new gauge for it is now when I get out of the hot tub at night, I'm not like covered in goosebumps or crying because it's so cold. I'm like, I can stand up out of the hot tub and be like, okay, it's not the worst.
Okay. So. Well, then this actually is probably pretty timely because we did like fake spring.
This is pretty timely. I'm going to tell you about how wonderful everything is here while you're freezing.
This is all just part of her plan to make us all move to New Orleans.
For reference, because people can't see this, Biz is in like a tank top dress. Ashleigh is in a tank top. I am in a hoodie.
The sun is shining. The tank is clean, ladies. Yeah, well, but the thing is that like I'm like super mindful, like whatever these days. And so when I was doing this stuff, like I had to literally pull my kid out of the house to like make her stick her hands in dirt with me. And it's like, like I'm not going to force you to plant the plant, but I am going to force you to sit on the stoop and like watch me have a great time sticking my hands in this dirt. And you're invited to do it with me. And it's like, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is that level of parenting that like, I'm not like, ugh. And so I thought of you, Ashleigh, and I was like, oh man, Ashleigh, I'm sure has like been through this and is like currently going through it with her, teenager now. And then I thought about you, Katie, and like all of the really cute, like planting what is it that you planted, the pine cone and made your Christmas tree?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's so cute.
Or like the Easter bunny, like I'm sure you're gonna do.
We are planting in a little Easter egg to have an Easter basket appear.
Like you're so fucking oh, there you go, explicit. So happy people, guys. That's what I've come to. But I literally was thinking about y'all and like how many times like like the nurseries sell out of dirt around here because like you literally have to buy dirt in New Orleans. What? But like people probably aren't even intentionally doing it. It's just this like, So like imagine if we were intentional, and y'all are like honestly some of the most intentional people in my life. And so even though I'm springing this on you,
har.
I really think that's what I'm saying. I think this is the perfect time for the conversation because like y'all are leading into it. So it's like you can get excited about it.
This is so funny because this is going to be where you get a peek behind, like you think people are very put together or like intentional about everything. And then if you were to walk up to my house and look at the state of my landscaping, you would think my entire life is falling apart. It's so bad. It's so bad. We tried so hard last year. We planted what's called a sumac tree, which is this really beautiful little bush.
Yeah.
With these great leaves that change colors. But we planted it in the same spot we used to have a rose bush. And the rose bush we did not want. And so when Waffles was like messing with it, we like said, good boy, like dig it up. So he tore that rose bush out. And so when we put something new there, one day I go out into the yard and he's running around with the entire bush in his mouth. I'm not kidding, roots and all. We bought it like it was big and he just had it. My dog went full bush.
I love golden so much.
So that died. And then we bought little smaller bushes that went in the front along. We've got we're like a white picket fence, but not, it's black iron. So, same. But along the black iron fence, we did little bushes and they all died. I don't know why. So that is awful. And then we have turf in our front yard, like AstroTurf, because we cannot grow grass. And they don't match because I did one side to test it. And then we had to go buy different turf. So they're actually kind of different colors. It's so bad. And that's all just my front yard. I also have a backyard. So, yes, very intentional.
Okay, are you ready for this? Yeah. I have, one super awesome metaphor because everybody starts with cleaning out their dead shit. Like everyone does. And especially here in New Orleans, because we had that crazy snow that like never happens that everyone else got to enjoy that I didn't, right? Still a little bitter. The people like had to cut all of it away. And it's so cool because stuff didn't die. And like, so it's like spring is extra springy here. And I love that like you just got to shed the dead weight. And everybody's got it. Like everybody's got those dead bushes. Two, the reason why I think your small bushes are dying out front is got to make sure pets aren't peeing on them. That was happening to me with my teeny tiny bush. And so I'm now one of those people that has one of those little pet signs in their little, I don't know if it does anything, but it makes me feel better. At least like look at the dead bush. Okay. Like be mindful of the dead bush that you're killing.
Look at what you've done.
Look at what you've done. I have feelings.
When I bought my house in Dallas, I was so excited to like have a yard and have, a little garden area or like landscaping. And so I dug up everything that the guy had previously planted, the previous owner, and like went and picked out flowers. Do I know anything about any of this? No, not even nothing. I know nothing. I just picked based on what I thought was pretty. I spent all day planting it and I got sun poisoning. I had like a mini heat stroke. And because I chose the day that was 106 degrees. And so then our lawn people offered landscaping or something, and it was like like $50 or whatever, and I was like, that's fine, just do it. And so I always laugh about that because it was my first opportunity to like really make this pretty landscaping, and I just really I don't even know what happened. I died, then the flowers died. But now I think, and I'm gonna call it an age thing, I'm at the point where I'm very much flowers are fine, and I love seeing them like sprout up, but I'm very excited about being able to do like vegetable gardens.
Do you have a compost? Are you
No.
gonna make a compost?
No, I will not.
Oh, I feel like you could totally compost.
Mm-mm.
Okay, all right. I'll scratch
No hate
it.
to people who do. That's great. We're taking
My
baby steps here.
grandparents were like master composters. That's
Yeah.
the only people I know, but they were hardcore about it. And also, you know what? It just dawned on me because they lived in New Orleans their whole freaking life, and you got to buy freaking dirt. Like that's why they composted. Oh my gosh.
I have a son who likes to play in anything that resembles dirt, so composting would just that would not end well for us.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I just, what do you think about my idea of like kind of putting Liv on the front stoop with me and making her sit there? Do you think that was the right? Because I was like on a whim, and I was like, this feels like the right thing to do. But have you done stuff like that with Cassie, Ashleigh, in the past?
I mean, especially as they get older, they don't. She's gotten to the age now where she's got her friends are all on the phone, and she wants to be more in her room practicing her musical instruments and writing in her journal, and that's great. And I really don't impede on that much beyond a few things, which is meal times. We all eat at the table for meals. That's what we do. There's zero exceptions to that outside of if somebody has a flu and they're not going to come to the table because they're on the couch or bedridden. That's it. That's the only exception. A family game night, if we're doing some board games or if we're all doing chores, if we're doing chores, we're kind of all doing them at the same time. And then things like that, where it's like, hey, Shane and I are going into the backyard to work on this and that. You can come help us do this, or you can just come sit outside and play with bubbles or draw chalk or sit in the sun for a little bit. I won't make her stay outside the whole time I'm out there because our yard projects have been extremely laborious so far, and they're not really, I wish it was the cute, we're digging a hole and we're planting the flowers and stuff, but we're rolling out. We did our own sod, the turf. It's like, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of labor.
Crazy.
It's not really super friendly to working with them. But, on the flip side, we've got snow here. And so we send the kids out to help with shoveling. Not that they always do it, but.
Yeah. I guess that's like, it's cool. Thank you for listing all that stuff out, because it's like things that are important to you, right? Like you still make a priority and are like setting that example. And it's just cool. Like I just think about it like now, like I wonder what Liv's little worldview is and how it'll be.
If you want to know what her worldview is, give her a camera and let her record.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Wait, I will
that's so smart.
Does she have a phone?
No.
She doesn't have a phone yet, right? Okay.
No, she doesn't have a phone, but she has something.
Okay, we bought like a kid's phone, but it doesn't work as a phone, but it looks like an iPhone, right? Because Connor loves taking photos. And so it looks like an iPhone, but they can take photos, record, play music, and like something else. Oh, draw is what he loves. So obviously I know he's way younger, but taking it and like looking at what he took photos of and like what's important to him is like so cute. And that would be really fun.
I didn't do that before New York. Oh.
You could do it now that she's outside and stuff. They make really cute, like little cheapy digital cameras and stuff that she would probably love, because she can take the photo then immediately go look at it. Like you could get her one that's super cute and then be able to see like what she's, and how fun to print out some of the photos she's taken for her, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I love the photos, but I also really like the video recording because they'll usually talk while they do it. Yeah. And it's just some of the ones I've seen that have come out of people doing that. They talk about like their perspective of their parents, and it can be really validating.
Oh my God. I would, oh my God, I can't. Yeah. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. I told Liv, you know what? Okay, so I took her to school this morning. Actually, I'm going to talk about this article now too, I guess. But I took her to school this morning and I set the mood because I had all of this in my mind of like what can I be intentionally setting an example for with her? And I was like, I'm going to tell her that I'm proud of myself. And I was like, hey, Liv, you know something I'm really proud of myself for? And she was like, what? And I was like, I got published in an article about being a woman in a male dominated industry, and where there's like not as many women as there are men. And the enthusiasm that came from her in the back seat, and it was so cute, and I was literally almost like, what does this even mean to you? Like the kind of thing. But then she just was it just was really, it was like cool. Like it was cool to share that with her. And like I don't remember, I mean, I know for a fact my dad never, because my dad was big on pride. Like even growing up, like he wouldn't tell me, he would like make it a point that he wasn't saying he was proud of me, but he was like grateful for God's blessings in my life that God had given me, kind of thing, because pride was not something good. And so like it's a lot of like work to turn around and like for me to learn to ask my kid, like, are you proud of yourself? And like her like leaning into that, like shout out to Mike Richardson, who gave me that nugget years ago. But you know, like just like being healthy about that. So anyway, so like it was just cool. It was something I did with her this morning. But that article that that was published, this woman found me and honestly gave me the opportunity to answer questions that I wished people would ask. And it's like almost an emotional thing for me to like think that like how long I've been in mortgages, because it's been over a decade, and how fast that feels, yet how long it deserves to be like respected for. And then like somebody comes along and I got interviewed along 2 other women who have been around longer than me. And when I compare myself to them, which I didn't really have the opportunity to until the stuff was all said and done, I almost like felt a little nervous or anxious, like maybe I'd been too vulnerable or like too transparent, because I felt like their quotes, I guess, were maybe a little bit more politically correct, maybe is a way of saying it. I don't know. And it's just been, so I got really scared. But the thing is when you do something like that and it's out there on the internet forever and ever, amen, you can't really take it back. And so what I did last night, I didn't even know it got published. The reason why I know it got published is because a kind gentleman from another mortgage company sent me an email congratulating me on it. And that's how I knew it had gotten published. And so I sent it to a bunch of my women friends, just like hey guys, it's out here. Just to kind of like rally my posse and know that it was okay. And from there, a couple of people have shared it. But like this morning, I got a message from someone, and she said, Your mom sent me the article from MPA. Hooray. When I started in commercial real estate in the 70s, there was less than 5% of women in the business, and women still had to have their husbands co-sign on the car they drove to appointments.
Gosh.
Talk about a bunch of arrogant pricks. You are amazing, and you continue to show them how it's done. And so, like,
I just got chills.
I don't really care anymore that I said mansplaining in that article. And I don't really care anymore that I said most women don't know mortgage banking is an option. Because who am I to say most women? I don't know. You know, I could sit there and pick myself apart over all of that. Or I can like choose to stand and be proud of myself for somehow finding a way to cross this person's desk to then be brave enough to answer those questions honestly and not edit myself down. Because there's no doubt that I said it all, but I'm just feeling it a little bit. But I just think it's really cool to like actually like examine in real time, like what I did, which was like rally my people, like own the narrative.
Yeah.
And then own the narrative. And then also like tell my freaking kid, because that's like another level of accountability. Like, you know, and like own my truth to her. So I did that this morning, and hopefully in a way that was just a simple example of mama saying that she's proud of herself, but like it felt like freaking moving Everest this morning.
I think that's huge because like we want our kids to learn intrinsic value. And one of the ways we can do that is by demonstrating it. And how often do we do that? And it's funny because we were just talking about like, how do we know what kids are thinking, what's going on in their world, what are things from their perspective? And every once in a while they key you into something and you just like, I just love how honest they can be. They're not like hiding something from us. They just don't always share every thought, right? And so one day I was picking the kids up from school and I pull up, they're getting into the car and they get in and they look at me and Ezra goes, "Are you in a bad mood?" And I'm smiling. So I'm like, "No, why?" He goes, "Oh, usually when you're in that outfit, you're in a bad mood." I started laughing so hard because I was wearing like a pea coat that I really only wear if I've been out on appointments. And so sometimes I'm really stressed, like dealing with, I've just been out on appointments. I have emails to catch up with. I have this to catch up with. And I'm sitting in car line, so I can't be on my phone. And then I've got kids and I can't be on my phone while I'm driving them back. And like, so I'm like stressed. And so that it just made me laugh so freaking hard that like the things the kids pick up on that we have no, like I've never correlated that coat with a bad mood before.
That's
a cute coat.
That is so cute. And I like low-key love that he put like, I'm not even low-key, like that's awesome. I love that.
It was, but yeah. So anyways, just like the things that we do that we teach the kids and we're not intentional about it, and you can't be intentional about all of it. So I think it's really good to stop and think about like, what am I teaching the kids? Like,
yeah. Checking in. Dude, that video idea is genius.
Oh, yeah. Totally, it's my favorite. Looking back, like all the times that they were little toddlers running around with my phone and you can just hear their little well, you're just looking up the nose.
Yeah, I'm about to be gone for the longest amount of time that I've been away from Liv on like a world tour, not world tour, but multiple state tour, including you, Ashleigh.
I know.
Very excited. But yeah, but I just thought about it. I think I'm gonna ask her to make a video documentary for me and like check in, and like I think I'm gonna introduce it now because like yeah, it sucks that I didn't think of it in New York. But that doesn't mean I can't turn it into something now. And that would be a cute way for us to stay connected. Like I could send her little videos too, because she's got a Gmail account.
Oh.
So, and then I think it'll save them. Oh my God. precious. Yes.
We Connor was playing with my phone this morning, and he, like I said, he likes to take pictures. So like he'll take my phone and just take some photos or whatever. He likes to look at things through it. And then he set it down and climbed up on my lap and was snuggling with me. And he started singing me some like good morning song and like gave me a kiss, and I didn't know it until afterwards, but he had left it recording. And so like the camera isn't on us, but I have the audio of him like just climb. And I mean, it was just really sweet. Like I have been kind of crying, and he just like climbed up, and you hear this sweet little like, oh, it's okay. And then like, good morning, it's a good morning.
You gotta go put that in a Build-A-Bear.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea.
Up. Gosh, Ashley, what are these? Is your middle name Hallmark? Like, what the fuck? Like,
but I will say, like, with the teaching them things that we don't really know, his language has been, continues to be a journey. And I was just telling somebody, one of the things that I'm most proud of as a parent is that his two most common phrases, and this was one of them, was not something we intentionally taught him, but when he does something or like drops something or something happens or goes wrong, or he sees our face like an oh shit moment, he goes, oops, it's okay. And like before he even figures out like what the solution is, he just goes, it's okay. Oops, it's okay. And I'm like, okay, I love that it's like one sentence, because it's like the reassuring, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity for a solution. And his other one, like his most used phrase is thank you. And I think I told y'all recently, he turned it very dramatic, and now it's like, thank you so much. But it's like very very dramatic. We stop and get a cake pop, and he looks at the people and he's like, thank you so much. And like,
geez.
We obviously teach him thank you, but I do also really love that he sees me and Brett say it so much that, I mean, and
I hope you get that recorded. Like,
oh, it's recorded, and he does it for everything now. So like when we tuck him in at night and say I love you, he says I love you, and then he'll grab your face and go, so much.
Oh,
that's so cute.
But like, I'm glad that that's what he's learning.
No, it's huge. Yeah, it's huge. It was so great. I really love talking to my kid. I love my kid.
That's like the coolest part of as they get older, and like the conversation evolves, and like Cassie and I talk about politics and all sorts of stuff now. And she asks like questions about it, and like, why do things work that way? And how did that happen? It's like, dang.
I know you're super intentional about that too, because you were sharing a story with me where like something came on the news, and instead of talking about what they said, you were teaching her how to think critically about what was said and like what questions to ask. So that has to feel really good when she comes to you with the questions of like, she's listening to you about asking, like critical thinking, and then figuring out what questions to ask. And that's really neat.
Yeah. Thanks. It is. It's interesting because I feel like we're in a world where, and maybe every generation, every generation always feels this way, right? We're like, oh, the young kids these days, they don't do anything on their slang, and they don't want to work. But I feel like there really is some data supporting some of what's going on, to the point that some of it's like a crisis in the youth generations. And I was half joking, half not with Shane about it. And I was like, honestly, if we can teach those kids to handshake properly, make eye contact, and make polite conversation for 10 minutes, like they'll be light years ahead of their peers.
Yeah.
So ridiculous.
I was just talking to my brother about this because he has his oldest daughter is graduating high school this year, and he's taking her to Italy to celebrate. And right. And I was like, she's got to be so excited. He said at first she wasn't, because she is more introverted, and that's a new place. Like that's a lot of new and stuff. And like he talked her through it and brought her into the planning and like researching some of the things and stuff. And he and I have had conversations over the years about like, you look back on our childhoods and you can see a lot of things that were really damaging, but then a lot of things, like you said, like the strong handshake and looking people in the eye and having to do some things that are uncomfortable, not unsafe, but uncomfortable, you know, because you grow through it. And so it's cool. It's cool to be able to watch him and how he models that for his kids and how he does it. And like, he's, you know, I saw him on Duolingo with Streak, like taking Italian to try and be able to converse a little bit and teaching her to do that and stuff. Like, instead of just being like, oh, okay, it's scary, so we're not going to do it. It's like, it's scary, so this is how you adapt. And I just love that approach to it. I don't know. He's very wise.
Yeah, no kidding. That's amazing. I was thinking about one of the things you said you wanted to talk about, and you were mentioning it with like the stoop and being out there and planting your spring plants and like what traditions do you have with kids? And, you know, I didn't grow up in a house that had a ton of traditions. And I do remember the few that we had, I was very partial to. And so it's something that like I've tried here and there to have something. So we do like at Christmas, we do Cookie Palooza, where we make way too many Christmas cookies. Nobody ever can eat them all, but we just do it. And I started not long ago doing a Sunday dinner because I was like, it's just it's Sunday. We were supposed to have like kind of a more complicated meal, like something that takes a little longer to make. And like,
it's special.
Yeah, something special. And so every Sunday we were having fried chicken. And we took a little break because the kids started complaining. They're like, fried chicken. And I was like, fine, I'm not going to make it then. So we're on
not the biscuits from the can.
Homemade biscuits and banana bread.
Yeah. My homemade biscuits are like, have you ever had those biscuits that come in a can? Okay.
Have you ever heard of grounded?
I'm out. So it's funny because it's hard because there's a balance between like, I don't want them to like resent the traditions because they were forced into them. And so I don't know. How do you feel about that?
It's this weird balance. I think about this all the time, of this weird balance of you don't want them to feel forced to do something, and yet you do want to teach them to respect traditions and priorities that your family has put together, right? And so it's like, at what point is it a priority for the family? And it teaches you those lessons of like, even when you don't feel like it in the moment, you do it because it's good in the long haul. But I don't know. I don't have an answer. I think about it a lot. I think about it a lot too with like, because, you know, when we had Connor, and Brett's whole family is here. And so holidays are like with his family and their traditions and stuff. And it was so cool because I got to learn new traditions. And also, you know, I was like, okay, what do we want to do with him? Like, what do we want to do that's special for just us? And do we allow them to change over time, or do we decide now, like, what we want to do? And, you know, I don't know. I don't have an answer for it. I think it's just like tradition for tradition's sake doesn't make a lot of sense. But if they understand the meaning behind it, then I think that there's a lot of value there.
Yeah. There's probably some like, I mean, really, there's probably some like neuroscience or whatever developmental like things that we should all be hitting. And then as long as we're hitting all of those things, then there's like creative freedom. But I definitely think traditions, because community and like tribalism and all of that is really important. But it's just like, it's just interesting because Liv's like an only child, right? And so it just dawns on me now that like I have to be intentional about making her do stuff. But I don't know. Maybe she picks up on more than I think she does. You know what I mean?
Probably.
But
yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah. Right? They get to adulthood and we go, oh, I was way overly stressed when I didn't need to be. But it's hard to tell the moment, you know. I saw there's this trend going around on TikTok right now where the parents have like, so mom, baby or toddler, dad, and they have in front of them something with a paper towel over it. And so one at a time they pick up their paper towel. So like dad picks up his paper towel, he has one cookie. Toddler picks up his paper towel, he has two cookies. Mom picks up her paper towel, has no cookies. And obviously the ones that go super viral are like the ones that are the cutest or funniest reactions. But 9 times out of 10, these little kids just instantly give Mom their extra cookie.
Yeah.
And some of them are like so cute so far as to like one of them was crying as he's giving his mom his cookie. And one of them is like, he puts it down, then puts her paper towel back over it and makes her like reveal. And it's one of those things that like all those parents were like, dang, like, I mean, I knew I had a good kid, right? But like to see like them take that action and do that at that age, that is not right. The sharing nature.
Yeah. Oh.
So it's really cute to see that kind of stuff. I love it.
I love
have
that
kids,
a lot.
they said. It'll be fun, they said. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Y'all are gonna plant some plants. I'm gonna send you something, and you're gonna have like a succulent love fern from me. I brought a plant from Arizona, and I brought 2 plants from Arizona, and they made it. So Ashleigh, watch out.
I have killed succulents before. I've killed cactus. I also have a pile of dead crickets in my house I have to get rid of right now. So on a real winning streak. I would like to take 1 second to be a little bit of a downer because I learned this recently and it was really surprising to me. And I learned recently that suicide rates actually tick up in the spring versus the winter. Really? And I did not know that. You would not think it. I think they said a lot of times the highest rates are around the holidays, but in general, from winter to spring, it ticks up.
Wow.
And so just like a gentle reminder to check on your people. And like Biz, you were so vulnerable rallying your people around you when you felt like you needed support for your magazine article coming out. And I think it's important that we continue to tell people it's okay to say, like, I need support. I need help. I need somebody to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Thanks for that reminder. I had no idea. That's
crazy.
It's really interesting.
Well, thanks, Ashleigh. Now we know.
Yeah.
Check on your friends. Love your friends. And exactly. It's okay. And so it's okay to say something. And I appreciate that too. I'll be a little bit more receptive of space. So that people may be asking for, because it's really, really, really hard to ask. Like it's really hard to ask. And so I will be more mindful of potential whispers. So thanks.
Yeah.
Sweet. Anything else you guys want to talk about today about spring?
Nope. I'll share a cute story to end us out on a high note. So we did have our one day where it was kind of warm, as in like we could go outside with just sweatshirts. But the sun was out, so we went to the park, and Connor got a bunch of cool stuff for his birthday. And one of them, it's this little like rocket launcher thing. And the rockets are dinosaurs. And what a shock. And so we set it up, and it was like 30 minutes straight of just him walking backwards to see how far he could go to get the biggest running start to do like a massive jump and shoot these rocket dinosaurs up into the sky. And like it was just like a small little moment of time that I was like, oh gosh, this is so good. Like this is just so, I don't know. I used to love spring because it was the start of baseball season and like all the things were blooming and everything was good, but the sun was out and we were having fun, and things aren't really blooming here, but at least it's you can shoot some rockets up into the sky.
The sun is shining behind you.
Yes, it is.
I see it.
It is indeed.
I didn't realize, like, literally this whole time we're recording, it's like, wow, like it's so different, but it is. It's because the sun is out.
The sun is out. Yeah. That's literally it.
Well, I love you guys so much, very much. And our listeners, I love you too. People out there, our thousands of downloads we've hit, which is like crazy.
Yeah. What are you guys doing?
Still holding out for Antarctica. A year later. That Facebook post came up in my memory again.
I need to start an initiative to get some penguins, some smartphones.
Penguins need friends too.
I bought a sea turtle like follow bracelet in New York. Like maybe I should have bought a penguin.
Strapping a phone playing the podcast to it.
Yeah, penguin.
One of those ones you tap it and it lights up. Just do like Morse code for the entire episode. Counts.